evening once again, everyone. Thank you for joining me again this evening. It's a very sunny evening here on a Thursday evening on the interwebs. I'm your host, McRae. Thank you for joining me. It is another round of the 2021 AutoItalia British Giulietta TCR Championship. And we are here once again for rounds 19 and 20 at Oulton Park this evening for our double race weekend. So let's just have a quick look at the points, what they've done as we're moving into the latter stages of the season. So as we can see, the man that pretty much has led from the off, Matt Daly, in the car number 63, still leading the championship, eking out that lead ever more with each round, has seen off the challenges of the closest rivals, Colin Knief and Andrew Whitehead. Colin being the overall championship winner from last year, and Andrew Whitehead very close on pace, trying to close the gap but not able to do it yet. They take the top three championship positions. Matt Daly, as you can see, on 334 points, Colin Knief on 284, and Andrew Whitehead at 229. Just outside the top three, Paul Plant, the Bianco Motorsports driver, in car number 24 on 118. Then we have Alan Matthews, 171, putting in some good results. Greg Young as well, putting in some good battles with the leaders on 104. Barry Clayton late to enter the championship, but again putting in some good performance on 98 points. Anthony Gray on 96 down in 8th. Andrew Cracker number 73 in 77. And the first of the AM championships in the overall position, taking the 10th spot. That rounds out the top 10. There are slightly more in the championship, but we're just focusing on the top 10 for the results for the moment. Of the AM championship, there is only 8 of them competing, although the lower 3 arguably aren't participating anymore. But we have, for the AM championship standings, we have Luke Wiggins topping the table on 150, but they're ordered by the drop score, so there will be it does work out that he is the leader. Rob Whitney in second, Paul Millman in third, Guy Swarbrick in fourth, and Stephen Knight in fifth. Again, some good results from them. Yeah. So as I said, we are at Oulton Park this evening, the UK circuit. Where is it? In Cheshire. I should know that, but I didn't. 2.692 miles on the dot for the competitors to run. Qualifying has begun, so we'll just join them and see what on the circuit so far. And as you can see, we have Luke Wiggins with the provisional pole. Still a few runners. We are still missing a fair few competitors this evening. Normally see slightly higher, I think, but Luke Wiggins taking provisional pole. Matt Daly missing from that lineup as well. We have seen consistently. I think something's probably clashing with his calendar a little bit. Tends to join late into the qualifying session, storms it on the last lap, and then wins the consecutive races after that. But it being a 2-race event this evening, we will have the qualifying session for this race, then a half an hour race for race 1, I believe, and then a grid swap for race 2. As we just click into the final 20 minutes of qualifying, Andrew Whitehead, as we can see, putting in a better time. They're starting to swap around a bit. Luke Wiggins still on the Stormer, not letting that go too soon. Colin Knief, one of the front runners as well, still to put in some quicker times. But I think they're all, as he does, goes up into provisional second place. I think they're all going to enjoy this circuit a little bit more. At the moment, very challenging track to get on with. A lot of camber, off-camber turns, a lot of places to catch you out, but a lot of places to try and overtake as well under the brakes into corners and things like that. So it should offer a very exciting race this evening for everyone in the front-wheel drive Giulietta. As you can see, Colin's back tyres bouncing over the curb there. So yes, I am normally as well joined by Reeve, my co-host, but he is indisposed this evening, potentially maybe dropping in a bit later. But for the moment, just my single dulcet voice to commentate you through this evening's events. As we are watching Colin Knief just pull to the side of the road, so obviously that's not a quick enough lap for him. I suspect he's just going to jump into the pits just to make some setup changes. Open setups again this season, and yeah, everyone getting to grips with them fairly well. Some people not putting in times quite yet. 17 minutes remaining. Guy Swarbrick, Barry Clayton as well. And the championship leader has joined us as well. Matt Daly is in the pit lane. Currently watching Rob Whitney on the end of, I said midpoint of his lap, actually coming up to Shell Oil's corner. It's a very steep cambered hairpin there. You can make a overtaking manoeuvre on the outside of that corner as well, if you can keep the grip on the tyres and keep the speed. So that could be something that we see happen this evening. Someone could be brave enough to get that done on their nearest competitor. Colin Knief still sitting in second. I think we'll be trying to get a quicker time in. As you can see, Matt Daly in the yellow car with the mirrors, but now Colin Knief may be struggling a little bit. Still trying to get warmed up in the session. Just needs to get used to the car, get everything working as expected. As the Andrew Whitehead braking in to Britain's, I think that was. No, Hislop. Very good results, just outside of some top 3 positions. Some very good podium results for Andrew chasing down the leaders. It very much appears to be a sort of 3-horse race for the championship, with him and Colin Knief and Matt Daly as well. I think we're going to see some very close racing this evening for all the competitors. Possibly some of the mid-pack rivals as well. I can see Greg Young currently sitting on the second row. Barry Clayton in the yellow and blue car as well. Very striking. Just slightly behind him. Fantastic result for Guy Swarbrick as well. Currently sitting mid-pack in qualifying. In the OP Oils car. 15 minutes of first qualifying session remaining. You can see Paul Millman behind him on track and in the standings as well. That novice sticker on the back. But has put in a good fight with some of the competitors. Tripped over some of them slightly. Alan Matthews sliding the car around the first corner. The back end stepping out there. Possibly might need a touch more rear wing for that one, or suspension setup, but yeah, that could be the key, having the back end rotate around the front that easy, as he is sort of sliding through Old Hall corner. Normally mid-pack runner competing, we normally see him on the same track as, who was that? That wasn't Greg Young. There was another car that was fairly... Here's Alan Matthews and Rob Whitney, very close on pace. normally fighting for the same piece of circuit, but we see that as well. Bit of a surprise. Will and Gliss sitting on the second row, pumping, getting his way up the order. Matt Daly, after a couple of laps, whether he's hit traffic or not, currently sitting 11th, coming to the end of this lap. Could this be the flying lap that he needs? It is indeed. It's a good one. 142, sorry. So sitting second row, but no doubt there's more pace in that speedy yellow Giulietta. Colin Keefer's on a running as well. Luke Wiggins, provisional pole, wants to be fighting at the sharp end for the race. Let's see whether he can hold on to that. Looks like he'll be fairly, like putting in a whole second quicker than Colin Keefe at the moment. 12 minutes to go. So the others have got a little bit of work to do to chase him down. A bit more time to find, but they have proved it time and time again. We'll see if they can do it this time as well. Daily off the track. Not causing all sorts, just a little bit stationary. I think we'll probably just make some setup changes. Willing Glees down in the second row. Greg Young, good high position for him. Andrew Whitehead getting pushed down a little bit, down the order a little bit now. 2.2 seconds to find to be back on pace. Puts in the fastest first sector. What to do? Barry Clayton is off at the Shell Oils corner. Obviously easily done. It's going to be one to watch as well, especially on the first lap. There's going to be a few trouble spots. Old Hall corner and Cascades generally not too bad, for instance, as a sort of wider, more sweeping turns. But Shell Oils corner is a very fast, well, Island Bend is a very fast left-hander, and then a very short braking zone till the actual corner or the hairpin of Shell Oils. So that could be one, for instance, on the first lap, between sort of the mid-pack, which could help or hinder those behind them. We shall see. Rob Whitney down in 9th at the moment, on track ahead of Barry Clayton. Putting in a good time. Good pace we're seeing from a few people on the first sector, but the mid sector seems to be catching them out a bit. Running the wall there. He remains where he is. 10 minutes qualifying remaining. Luke Wiggins again, still second quicker than anyone else at Oulton, the number 44 car. Running slightly wide there at the first turn. Could he potentially be the key to the quicker time? Everyone is still on flying laps. Colin Keefe just about to finish his lap. Let's see what here time he manages. Comes across the line, remains, doesn't improve on his time, remains in second. Matt Daly midway around the lap. Will Inglis currently behind him on track. I think both putting in no, Matt Daly so still needs to get onto a flying lap. Will Inglis putting in a personal best sector 1, watching for the end of the lap. You can see the run up to the water tower, Druid's corner. Very deceptive there, very bit blind with the undulation in it. Very nicely done by Will Inglis. Finds his braking point for Lodge corner. Again, another deceptive dip before Daly, before coming across the start finish straight. Good second and third sectors, but not enough. And back on another flying lap goes. Let's see what Matt Daly can do. A little bit wide there on his qualifying run. Colin Keneath stationary on the circuit. Has gone back to the pits as well. So has Luke Wiggins as well. Has Luke Wiggins done enough to secure pole position? That will shake up the order, especially for race 1. Breaking into Britain's. Karting across those curbing. Very bouncy there, so it could be... you don't want to do that too often, or fear bouncing off the circuit. Slightly harder suspension setup on Matt Daly's car by the looks of it. Very much so, as it throws the car in the air through his lops. It's not going to slow him down a massive amount. Still puts in a very quick first sector. But that split was before that. I think it's at top of Hilltop is where the split is. So again, slightly slower for sector 2. But still a good time. Can he bring himself within a second of Wiggins? Not yet. Bouncing in the midsection really did cause him to suffer. Alan Matthews just moving to the pits. Greg Young looks like he's going to get slowed up a little bit by Stephen Knight on the Clay Hill, is that? Back straight? No, it's coming up to Lodge Corner, but he gets past him now just to come across the line. As Stephen Knight heads into the pits. Anthony Gray is with us, but hasn't managed to get else on track yet. When they're running, so he's going to have not got a lot of time left to put in a qualifying lap, if I'm honest. 6 minutes remaining. He can still do it, getting a fair few laps, but cutting it fine, especially if he's not particularly moving. Luke Wiggins back on track again, not comfortable with his time quite yet, but getting held up a bit by I can't remember what that was it by Clayton? Wasn't, no. As we see, as I was bound, there's a lethal bit of grass there. That was Millman, of course. A lethal bit of grass there for Millman on the inside of Cascade. So I think if anyone cuts the corner slightly in avoidance of the leader, they're going to yeah, that could be an issue. I suppose it is with any circuit, just rule 1 of racing, don't touch the grass. Swapping that side of the road as well after the first turn. Matt Daly is on a time as well. Sparks flying from that yellow car at the exit of first corner. But the gap has come down. 5 minutes remaining qualifying. Matt Daly has halved the gap, essentially, pretty much, between him and Wiggins. Colin Keneath and Andrew Whitehead nowhere really to be seen. But Whitehead heading up the third row, which he can get some good starts in, so can Colin Keneath. He'll be right in front of him. With, what is it, Inglis cutting them in half. Wiggins very wide, that's going to discount his time there on that flying lap. Whereas Matt Daly? Matt Daly is midpoint of the circuit. Through the undulation down to Druids. Under the bridge there. Good first sector, good second sector as well. This could be decisive. Is it enough to get pole? Wiggins is still going to be there on his tail though. It is not. That third sector. Third sector just slightly slower. It doesn't improve upon his time. Luke Wiggins really has controlling this qualifying session from the off. Colin Knief back in the pit, I think, to make setup changes. So is Inglis. Andrew Whitehead still getting around the circuit. They will have ballast as well. Unfortunately, I don't have the ballast sheet of the success ballast of who is doing what. Matt Daly will have a slightly heavier car than Wiggins due to what's been due to the amount of race wins that Matt Daly has. And you can see that effect that it has with Wiggins gaining track position and gaining time on everyone. Luke Wiggins not able to put in, not taken any race wins yet, has had a second place finish at round 15 at Donington. So he's capable of some some good results. Two minutes qualifying remaining. They may get another lap in if they can get across the start finish straight in time. There is still time for them to try again. So they are, but Matt Daly's actually on an out lap, so his time's not been encountered at the moment, but Luke's is. Potentially, Matt. I don't think they'll be quick enough. No, they're not going to be quick enough to get 2 more laps in. As I think that's Luke going wide at the. No, it wasn't. Who was that going wide? I think that was Anthony Gray, still not able to put in a time yet, unless this will count. Don't think it does. No, he's still not. So Anthony Gray currently in front of Wiggins. Gray without time, but Wiggins on another flying lap. Daly behind them is now on his final flying lap. I think the clock will count down to 0 before they get another lap in. So this is the final shootout of qualifying. Luke Wiggins has obviously put in an immense amount of work to be very quick on this track this evening. He gets round Anthony Gray, but I don't think that's enough. I think that slowed him up and slowed up his time. Anthony Gray is off the circuit, recovers. He's not going to be in the way of Matt Daly. And let's see what time Matt Daly gets on his final flying lap. 20 seconds remaining of the qualifying session. Slightly slower gear change on the exit of Knickerbrook. Colin Knief currently sitting in 3rd. Andrew Willing-Glees in 4th. Willing-Glees getting another lap in just before the time ended. Is Luke Wiggins going to get held up by Anthony Gray? No, he's not. He could do with that extra little bit of slipstream. Anthony Gray's not going to register a time, but no. Matt Daly comes into the pits at the end. Not quick enough in his eyes to even go across the line. So Luke Wiggins sits in pole position for race 1 with Matt Daly lining up next to him. No, he's not. Colin Knief. Colin Knief on the last lap cuts them in half again. So Colin Knief will, put in a lot of work. Brought him half a second within Luke Wiggins, but no, he will sit. I stand corrected. He will sit on the front row. Matt Daly now pushed to the second row next to Andrew Whitehead. Sitting at the end. So people are dropping out now. That's why Luke Wiggins has just dropped off to the bottom. I can't find my mouse. Where is it? There we go. So, quite a surprise, a little bit. But no, that was a good end to the qualifying sessions. That will hopefully is a sign of what is yet to come in race 1. We will get 25-minute qualifying session, excuse me. We will get the server reset, and we will get back to the grid very shortly. So we shall see you in just a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to race 1 that is about to begin. As you can see, Luke Wiggins and Colin Knief taking the front row, with Matt Daly and Andrew Whitehead behind them. A long run to the first corner. Can the competitors behind them get a good start and challenge either of them for the lead? Early on in the race, the final few minutes before the 25-minute race to begin, we have our 6 red lights appear on the gantry. The engine notes rise, and they are away, and it's a good start from Luke Wiggins, launched away from the line. So did Matt Daly. And Will Glee's got a bit swamped there. Matt Daly and Colin Knief battling for second place, both being pushed wide, slight contact, but Luke Wiggins a fantastic lead so far. Coming out the first corner, side by side, Matt Daly and Colin Knief as they come through the Cascades. Colin Knief with a slight advantage, but Matt Daly has the inside line as they go through Island Bend and then Shell Oil's corner. Looks like, can Matt Daly challenge on the inside? He can't, falls behind, but Colin Knief runs very wide on the outside, is on the grass, he's losing position as we speak. There's also someone on the inside of the circuit. Who is that? That is Rob Whitney's losing position, but where has Colin Knief? Is all the way down in 8th now as they find their breaking point through Britain's. So very, very bad start. We knew that Shellow's corner would be challenged from the beginning of the race, but yeah, really unlucky for Colin Knief, and falls all the way down to the mid-pack. With Matt Daly now up into 2nd. Will Glees got the better of Andrew Whitehead on start, and now sits in 3rd. Andrew Whitehead, as I said, sits in 4th with Greg Young behind him, and Barry Clayton trying to chase him down. But a fantastic start for Luke Wiggins, who gets away from the line very cleanly and has now eked out a 1.5 second lead over Matt Daly, which was about what we saw at the beginning of qualifying. So he got the pace in him, but whether he's got the pace in him for 25 minutes, we shall see. Is that gap slightly increasing? But it's more than just the beginning and the end of the race. They've got the time management to worry about. And the pacing, that's Will Glees sliding in the first corner in the background, overcooking it going in, didn't spin, incredibly, very well held, and Andrew Whitehead as well, not hitting him, but now rejoins down in 5th with Colin Knief fighting his way up through their side by side as they go down the lakeside. On the grass, Colin Knief for most of that, he's trying to force his way into his track position. Looking for any opening he can, but well defended from Will Glees, and the back end switching around on Colin Knief. Very well held again, like a more exciting racing this evening. What has happened here? Matt Daly spun in the background, didn't see what happened there. That was too caught up on the battle between Glees and Knief, but no, Matt Daly has come a cropper of Shell Oil's corner as well, and has now rejoined down in 12th place, so couldn't recover as quick as Colin Knief. So now a terrible second lap for Matt Daly. And Will Glees has done the same, coming into I think that's Hislops, and rejoins at the back again. That's terrible for him. After battling with Colin Knief, who's now up into 4th. So little mistakes creeping into those front runners, and because there's so much grass around the circuit, they just fall off the circuit and struggle to rejoin. But Colin Knief fighting his way back up. Matt Daly all the way up into 10th now. Sorry, beginning his recovery drive. Will Glees is a bit further back. I think he's going to find it a bit harder. But a massive 7-second lead for Luke Wiggins over Andrew Whitehead now. After all that drama behind him, as Luke Wiggins has kept his race incredibly clean, and there's 20 minutes of the race remaining, so a very small portion of it run so far. And we still have time, but can just has to keep it clean now for the remaining 20 minutes. Andrew Whitehead. What's happening? Barry Clayton is off as well. The front, the quick driver at Shell Oil's corner as well. It's catching everyone out. Race pace in the Giuliettas, and it's suffering a little bit with Shell Oil's corner. Barry Clayton rejoining down in 11th. Colin Keneef now onto the tail end of the battle for second with Andrew Whitehead and Greg Young. As they come out of was that Knickerbrook, Clay Hill, and then the water tower. A little bit of a gap then to Alan Matthews in 5th. When Inglis is off again and retires to the pit lane. Hopefully we'll see him back out track again. But no bad luck for him. Anthony Gray side by side with Matt Daly. Was battling with Guy Swarbrick, who has tangled with Paul Millman, and as they both rejoin the circuit. Who begun that? Not too sure, but they both get going again, but well, rejoin at the back. So different circuit causing issue, different corner rather, causing issues for the drivers at that point. Stephen Knight with Rob Whitney on his tail down in 10th. Rounding out the top 10. It says Rob Whitney looks to the outside in the exit turn 1 and cuts across Stephen Knight's front bumper. That was a very strange incident. It's now completely upside down and retires the car to the pit. So very, very strange one that I think the stewards are going to have fun looking at that one. Rob Whitney does get going. But Rob Whitney definitely had the run coming onto the exit of turn 1, but when for some reason, unknown reason to me, came across the front of Stephen Knight and ended up pointing the wrong way. So yeah, very strange incident on that one. Does rejoin. Everyone is back out on track, although Will Inglis is a lap down at this point. Rob Whitney getting back on track very quickly. Millman is now behind Swarbrick. Looks like he's got a good run on the outside. That's going to be a tricky one unless he can completely cover him off. He's not going to be able to do it. Swarbrick still covers off the inside. No, he does get it done. Cuts across and shuts the door on Swarbrick quite firmly. Stephen Knight in his own little instant there on his own accord coming into Clay Hill. Does rejoin, but is he going to have the leader in front of him at this point? Who is he going to be in front of? No, Paul Millman is sorry, Stephen Knight is in front of Paul Millman, so they're just catching up to the back of him. Lap 4 for Luke Wiggins, and yeah, very clean race from him, drawing out nearly a 10-second lead over Andrew Whitehead now. With Greg Young, who and Colin Keneef battling for position. Greg Young covering off the inside into Shell Oil's corner. Looks like Colin Keneef's trying to get a good exit. He's close enough. I think he wants that extra position. Seems to have more pace than Young. Stephen Knight's back into the pits as well. Rob Whitney, you can see, gains position. Breaking in to Hislops. Very well defended from Young. He's not going to have an opportunity, I think, to chase down Andrew Whitehead at this rate, because he's got the Halford's sponsored car on his tail. Colin Keneef, if he's not careful, Colin Keneef will take any opportunity he's given to get past. A very exciting battle for third place. Colin Keefe looks to the inside. Has he made space? Not quite, but that's a slow exit for Young. He sniffed that the door was open. Young tried to defend, I think, but just left the door slightly open. But yeah, Colin Keefe couldn't capitalise on that, and they remain in third and fourth respectively. That just shows Colin Keefe's intent and how ready he is to try and get past. Andrew, all the while, Andrew Whitehead driving away from him up the road a little bit. Colin Knief's just having to reset himself a little bit for another attempt, or is he going to be handed this as the wheels lock up on Greg Young's car? He gets it slowed down just enough. What's happening mid-pack? Barry Clayton is leading a little gaggle of cars. Up into 7th. Matt Daly quite far ahead of them, as you can see, in 6th around the corner. But he's got Will Harper, Anthony Gray, and Paul Millman. And... no, sorry, it's just a 3-car battle there. The 3-car battle for... again, this confused me. Clayton, Harper, Anthony Gray. Who's in the middle? Oh, sorry, I was confused. Winning Gleese is actually the lapped car in the middle. There we are. So a 2-car battle, beg your pardon, between Clayton and Harper, with Clayton eking out the gap over car number 59. Just under 15 minutes remaining of race 1. Luke Wiggins on lap 6, 11 seconds ahead, still putting in very, very good laps, very clean, consistent lap times, and doing all that he can just to maintain that very, very commanding lead for the novice driver. You can see by the sticker on the back of the car. Greg Young, in the meantime, has managed to see off Colin Knief's attempt to get him past him and close the gap right down onto Andrew Whitehead. So can Greg Young challenge for 2nd place? Colin Knief, I think, is just is going to be happy with a podium if he can manage it, trying to get on to the back of that battle. He's desperately trying to catch up. Alan Matthews behind them down in 5th, with a chasing Matt Daly in 6th. Alan Matthews, I think, mostly kept out of trouble for the race. So at what point? Let's see. I heard a car on the gravel as we were looking at Matt Daly, and it was indeed an Andrew Whitehead coming across of the last corner at Lodge Corner and losing out 2nd place to Greg Young, and that's going to Andrew Whitehead's possibly going to fall into the clutches of Colin Knief if he's not careful. So the championship long battle continues between Knief and Whitehead by the looks of it. After Whitehead unfortunately just looked like of his own accord just ran a bit wide into the gravel of... There's a bit of damage on his car as well, so whether there was unwitting contact between the two, not too sure. That's increased increased the gap between Wiggins and Young once again, as they go through Britain's. Colin Knief suffering a little bit, possibly with his tyres, not able to catch up to the slightly slower Whitehead. Runs very wide, very quick into his lops. He's going to struggle to get back onto the racing line. Does manage it, but that produces the gap between him and the 4th place car. So little errors creeping into Whitehead's driving, as he does run very wide down the straight into Lodge Corner. Very lucky not to hit any bumps in the grass there. Wasn't happy with the work the groundskeepers had done, so decided to just improve it himself. And they remain unchanged. Colin Knief, I think, quite a bit heavier with ballast and not able to capitalise on just the little errors from the cars in front. But he's quicker through this corner, definitely. dropping the get down through Cascades. Has he got the run? Did he get a better exit? Where's the breaking point for them both? The left-hander of Island Bend. Greg Young suffering a bit as well, locking up once again. They all bunch up now. Greg Young with a very bad line through Shell Oil's corners, really suffered, and that's allowed Whitehead and Knief to catch up. Will this be the opportunity that Knief needs? Will Andrew get second place back? He looks to the inside, coming into Britain's. They both brake very heavily. Andrew conceding that one. It's going to be all about the exit now. Who can carry the speed? Sorry, through his loft rather. Who can carry the speed out of Knickerbrook and up Clee Hill? Young, with the less ballast, is able to get that car back up to speed a bit quicker. They have Matthews and Daly just in the distance as well. Daly on the back of the green and white car, looking to get round and try and get onto this battle ahead of him. Potentially could sniff out a podium position. There's a... Who was that? Was that contact between Matthews and Daly? We saw in the background of that battle how close they were running. How very, very close they were running. There's damage on the back of Daly's car and the front of Matthews. So not sure whether Daly managed to get around Matthews and then had contact, or whether that's the contact with the barriers, but I would imagine that Daly possibly may have instigated that, trying to get an inside line, outbraked himself potentially, but I'm not too sure. We didn't quite get to see what happened there, but no, unfortunately, Matt Daly and Anna Matthews coming off that Lodge corner, continuing on in their respective positions, but with a massive amount of time lost, as I think Matthews was just sort of quickening his pace and able, possibly maybe being able to get onto the back of this battle. As we see Andrew Whitehead on the exit, Britain's going to get the run, looks to the outside. Greg Young covering off the inside line. That'll help him in the braking zone. But can Andrew Whitehead? He's having to concede. Andrew Whitehead has got that position back. So Andrew Whitehead up into second place. Elbows out on that one. Colin Knief trying to follow through. Can't get it done yet. But Greg Young's got a lighter car, so he's on the tail of Andrew Whitehead. Andrew Whitehead trying to defend the driving line, the racing line. Through Druid's corner. Slightly wider. They've all really bunched up here. Need to be careful not to trip over each other a little bit. Greg Young looking the inside line. Brakes heavy. Potentially nearly contact with the offside rear of Andrew Whitehead's car, but avoided that. A variety of lines through the first turn. Greg Young slightly wider, avoiding contact with Andrew Whitehead's car, loses out massively and hands that position to Colin Knief. So Greg Young not going to be happy with that. Ran a little bit wide at Old Hall corner, and Colin Knief has now got that position and is on a podium finish. 7 minutes of the race remaining. Just check in with the leader, although there's not really much to say about his race, apart from the fact that he's done a fantastic job from the off and has a very, very good commanding position on the entire race. Controlled it from the off, kept out of trouble from all that was happening at Shellow's corner. And has put in a fantastic performance and is now nearly 20 seconds ahead of Andrew Whitehead, as both Colin Knief and Greg Young running very wide on the exit Knickerbrook. So Greg Young trying to up the pace, trying to get back onto this battle. Andrew Whitehead, I think, just trying to maintain the tyres now at this point. He's got a bit of free air behind him. Colin Knief recovering well up into podium place after his first lap incident. Matt Daly catching back up to Alan Matthews and getting past him for fifth. Barry Clayton on the back of Alan Matthews at this point as well. So Alan Matthews, I think, suffering potentially with the contact. Has his car been... car's going to get rear-ended. It's not going to be too happy after that. So he may have damage on this car that he's having to limp around with. Behind them in 8th place is Will Harper in fairly free air at the moment. Anthony Gray down in 9th with Millman in 10th. Rob Whitney in 11th. Ulrich in 12th position. Stephen Knight behind him on track in 13th, and Will Inglis in 14th as well. What could have been for Will Inglis for race 1 had he avoided all the contact? So it looks like 4 minutes remaining. I mean, Matt Daly's really on a drive now. You can see just Greg Young just disappearing over Clay Hill in the distance. I don't think he's got the pace to be able to chase down Greg Young by the end of the race. 5 minutes remaining, but the gap between Knief and Whitehead is coming down. Down the start finish straight they go. Scottish driver Colin Knief looking to recover. That time very wide at the first turn. We'll have to be careful not to take any penalties from that running that wide. But you can see the gap is coming down slightly between the two. Less than a second separate them. Island Bend. Andrew Whitehead not defending so much yet. Not worried about the orange-white car in his mirrors. Straight lining the curbs at Britain's. Car number 1 chasing car number 40. Andrew Whitehead slightly stronger in the mid sector and able to eke out a bit more of a gap. So Colin Knief very strong in the first sector. Andrew Whitehead very strong in the second. And the third too short for either of them to do. The third sector too short for either of them to make any to take any advantages. The last corner once again. They remain in their respective positions, so very even race at the moment. 2 minutes left, so not many chances left for Colin Knief to try and challenge Andrew Whitehead, but they'll be running out of tyres at this point. You can see the front end sliding a bit more than Colin Knief's car. Greg Young just falling off of that group now at this point. Matt Daly just coming through the first turn. Very wide for Alan Matthews. Barry Clayton on his tail. I think this is the only closest battle happening on the circuit at the moment, potentially between Gray and Millman though. Lap 13 as Luke Wiggins laps both Stephen Knight and Guy Swarbrick. 22 seconds ahead of Andrew Whitehead. A fantastic result and his first race win. If he can finish in this position in the remaining couple of minutes. This will be the penultimate lap of the race of 1 minute 40 seconds it takes to take a lap. The countdown will go to 0, and then we will have one more lap from the leader after that. For that time, we will just watch the battle between Andrew Whitehead and Colin Knief. let's see if so the battle, two-car battle for second place. Very wide from Andrew Whitehead at the first turn. Didn't lose a lot of speed. Kept it very controlled. But is he getting concerned with Colin Knief on his tail? I've got at least 2 more laps to finish. So still got to conserve some tyres left. To count down as timer counts to the final few minutes. The final few seconds of the race, sorry. Anthony Gray's off the circuit. What has happened to Anthony Gray? Where is that? It looks like further around the circuit, possibly Druids or Launch Corner. Let's see. That is going to be Druids Corner. Unfortunately, he is stationary and not actually moving at all, so not able to rejoin by the looks of it. As we have Luke, excuse me, gonna get my teeth in. Luke Wiggins comes across the start-finish line to begin the final lap of the race. Very wide again in turn 1. So everyone's struggling a bit now, I think, with the tyre wear to keep it on the circuit in turn 1. But recovers very quickly, keeps up the pace. 1 more lap to go for his first win as an AM driver in the series as well. Very quick through Island Bench, Shell Oils Corner. No one around him to challenge that position. No back markers to contend with either. Backs off a bit on the exit. Car number 44 has not put a foot wrong at all for the entirety of race 1. Done a fantastic job from the off. Showed his pace this evening very early on in qualifying. Was a very hard man to catch for the likes of Matt Daly, Colin Knief and Andrew Whitehead to get close to on pace in qualifying, and has really shown that tonight in race 1 as well. A couple of more corners remaining. One final braking zone for, I'm sure, the very tired tyres of car number 44. Through Deer Leap, up the other side, and race 1 will go to Luke Wiggins. Very well done to Luke Wiggins. Clearly very happy with that, and so he should be. Fantastic performance on that one. The battle for second remains and finishes off as Andrew Whitehead in second place, and Colin Knief, a fantastic recovery drive from 8th place on that one to finish in 3rd. Greg Young just missing out on a podium finish there. A good result from him. Matt Daly as well, another fantastic recovery drive to finish in 5th. Alan Matthews will take 6th place. Barry Clayton taking 7th. Will Harper will take 8th. Paul Millman with William Glees, the lapped car William Glees behind him. Paul Millman would finish in 9th. Rob Minty will most likely come home in 10th. Swarbrick will take 11th. Stephen Knight in 12th. Will Inglis is finishing there in 13th. And Anthony Gray does get going again. But a very unfortunate incident. The latter stages of the race finishes down in 14th place. So, race 2 coming up. A reverse grid. We'll confirm when we get back to the grid where everyone will be. But that means that Anthony Gray will be at the front most likely, and Luke Wiggins will be at the back. So let's see how they handle the we're swapping the order. So yeah, we'll just go for a little break and we'll be back very shortly. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back to race 2 this evening at Oulton Park for the British Giulietta TCR Championship. As was predicted and as is the case, the winner from round 1, Luke Wiggins, will start at the back of the pack as it is a full reverse grid. So that let's go with a little look. That means let's go all the way up to the front. That means that there he was. Sorry, there he was. Anthony Gray, car number 12, will start on pole position. With who is that? It's not going to be not quite letting me go through the entire grid. There we are. Anthony Gray and Will Inglis lining up next to him on the grid. So a real opportunity for Will to put in a good second race this evening with a bit of a delay with the fastest drivers all at the back, who will have to fight through the pack. We've seen the likes of Matt Daly, Colin Knief and Andrew Whitehead all do it before, all fight through the pack to get to the front. Can Luke Wiggins do the same tonight at Oulton Park? We shall find out. An exciting race ahead of us, I'm sure. 25 minutes plus a lap from the leader. We have our 6 red lights on the gantry. All of the engine notes rise and the Giuliettas ready to go. The lights go out and away they go. It's a good start from Anthony Gray. So is Will Inglis, Steve Knight as well. They're all very even starts. And through the contact with Guy Swarbrick and Stephen Knight, there's also contact further down. Not letting me have a look. Who is that? Matt Daly is also pointing sideways on the circuit. So is Colin Knief. So everyone has been involved in contact. Who is also Paul Milton is just recovering. There's another car. That is Barry Clayton is at the back. That's the camera car. Don't want to see that. But at the front, Anthony Gray's held on to the lead. A massive incident in the middle, I think, was begun with contact with Stephen Knight and Guy Swarbrick, and that's just sort of cascaded through the entire field as Stephen Knight challenges for 3rd place on Rob Whitney and gets that position off of him. Rob Whitney trying to come back at him as they get to where is that? As they get to Britain's. But Will Inglis half a second off the back of Anthony Gray's car midway through the first lap. But a very good start from the both of them. Eking out 5-second lap further down. So a little look. Stephen Knight running very wide in the middle of his lops and allowing several people through. Still struggling to get back on the track. And he makes contact with Luke Wiggins, the race winner from race 1 down to recovering up to 7th from 14th place. And just gets recovers back to the circuit, but has got a lot of work to do now. Falling all the way down the order, he's got Clayton on his tail, Matt Daly trying to recover for the 2nd time this evening. Andrew Whitehead all the way up into 5th place already, I think avoided a lot of the contact at the beginning. Colin Knief up into 8th. But Will Inglis and Anthony Gray swapping positions. Very tidy line for Will Inglis on the first corner and takes the lead of the race for the moment. Hello. We've been joined live by Reeve now as we're watching race 2. Are you happy? Can you see the screen there? Is that all?
Can't hear McRae, unfortunately, but what we got?
Big,
leading the race.
Good part. There we go. Let's then push the talk off, and then I think you can hear me now, can't you? Hey!
Yes,
hello.
Apologies about that,
There
folks.
we go. Just live glitches to deal with. How are you this evening? You joined us again.
Yes, I'm very well, thank you. It's good to be back. It seems like a long time now. But back here
It
watching
is
some TCR.
indeed. It is indeed. So joining us live in race 2, just contact between Rob Whitney and Greg Young in the middle section of
Looks like
the circuit. Indeed.
looks like Greg Young came out of that quite well, but I think Rob Whitney's going to be kicking and screaming. I think in the cockpit.
There's going to be a few little incidents I think to look at from the beginning of race 2. We have one DNF. Guy Swarbrick has retired that one. Matt Daly, Stephen Knight, indeed.
Another
Stephen
crash.
Knight points in the wrong way. Hopefully just joined the circuit as well. So essentially the end of race 1 went to, where was he? Can't find him now. Luke Wiggins was the winner of race 1. Yeah, very good for him. But there was contact. He struck or was hit by Stephen Knight. So that's why he's down in 12th, unfortunately, at this point. So leading race 2 at the moment is Will Inglis and Anthony Gray, who started on row 1. Done very well on their positions at the moment. Andrew Whitehead is having a good race as well, who finished second in race 1, so is currently on for a podium position. As we see the second lap, 20 minutes remaining in race 2. So a few...
Looks like Anthony Gray's found about half a second on a Will Inglis.
Okay, possibly, yes. Because it did begin as Gray was leading because he finished last in race 1, and then the reverse grid race for race 2. So yes, he was actually leading from the front. So Will Inglis has actually got past him. So I think we're going to see that gap opening up a little bit. As Inglis seems to be having some good results at the moment. I think he's sitting fairly high in the championship as well at the moment. For joining late. But that looks a good point. The gap is sort of about half a second, isn't it? What's happening down the order? A little gaggle of cars between Will, Harper, Clinton and Whitney. Daly's managed to get past them all and back up into 7th.
Greg Young is attaining.
He was indeed, yes. I think Greg Young's struggling slightly with circuit this evening. This was essentially the battle for the majority of race 1 as well. And then Greg Young unfortunately made a mistake and let Colin Knief through. So I think he's just trying to catch up and continue from race 1 a little bit. Let's see. Let's watch this one a little bit. Alan Matthews is in a good position, 4th place.
Yeah, he seems to have got a nice gap on Colin Knief there, so if he just gets his head down, no pressure, it should be a fairly decent pace for him.
Certainly. They all seem to have settled down a little bit and sort of opened up the gap. So yeah, it's good chance. What's happened here? Andrew Whitehead has got 2nd place. Anthony Gray, I think, struggled a little bit on, what's that? That must have been the exit to Druids, and has lost out.
Yeah, he's definitely had enough there with 4 seconds, isn't it, pretty much, the gap already. Still a good job for him to keep it on the podium.
Yeah, it should be a very good result for him if he can keep it ahead, but he's got Matthews, Knief and Young all trying to chase him down. That's going to be a very tall order, I think, to try and maintain that. As you can get back up to pace a lot quicker. What's happened? Will Harper's stationary. Yes, he is just rejoining that soft Lodge corner as well. I think the Elite catching him out slightly. He does get going. Swarbrick is back. Sorry, Swarbrick no longer a DNF. Currently sitting in 13th. So is Stephen Knight, who's just getting passed by Daly. So Will Inglis now sort of on his own.
Yeah, 2 seconds
Don't
now.
think he's not had a race win yet. He's had a second place, but he's not had a race win, so it could be potentially a new like another newer driver to take a race win potentially. He's got to keep ahead of Andrew Whitehead, who is desperately trying to chase him down. Seems to be succeeding slightly. The gap between Gray, Matthews... This is nearly a 4-car battle for third at the moment, isn't it? Gray, Matthews, Knief and Young.
Yeah. Gray's still got a little bit of a gap, but it looks like Knief is putting Matthews under pressure now. Knief's got some serious pace, of course.
Knief is definitely on a charge. Sort of got caught. That will not help. Knief's sort of getting caught up in little incidents in both races, so yeah, not had a chance to really open the taps up a bit and get his true pace in.
Apologies for my absence. I am learning about the championship weekend as we go on.
Colin Knief looking inside into Shell Oils. Not getting it done quite yet. Can he get a good exit? He's right on the back of that AutoItalia sponsored car. He's trying his best, isn't he? Greg Young slightly falling off the back of that battle at the moment. Matthews trying to defend. He knows Knief is behind him. A lot quicker under the brakes there was Knief coming into his lops. Potentially, could Knief get the run through Clay Hill? Not so much. I think there's a lot of ballast as well that's coming into play with Whitehead, Daly and Knief, with how successful they've been with the first half of the championship.
Yeah, if you do look at the balance sheets, they do actually carry a lot of ballast. It's almost like another person plus their kit. Left some stuff in the boot. Looks like Alan Matthews, a few mistakes are creeping in, but unfortunately he's defending well enough to keep Colin. Oh, maybe not now. Oh no, he will defend just well enough there and keep.
But he won't. No, Alan Matthews running very wide the first turn. Greg Young hoping to capitalise on that mistake as well. Does get through. Follows for Colin Knief. So Alan Matthews, unfortunately, just falling down the order a little bit. Great shame on that one. He's doing incredibly well.
Do you think that was either a bit hot into the corner there, or maybe the tyres are just saying, no, I've had enough, trying to defend from Knief?
They've had to contend with the tyres a lot this evening as well. Balance everything together, aren't they? As they are every week. So, yeah. This is probably going to be a lot harder on the tyres this week than some of the others, isn't it? With how much undulation there is and heavy braking.
Exactly what you don't want in a TCR car.
What do we have? That was a change at the back between Wiggins and Millman, I think it was. Damage on Whitney's car. So yes, slightly unlucky performance from Wiggins down in 10th at the moment. But back up at the lead of the race. The gap really coming down between Inglis and Whitehead. Half a second now, so Andrew, despite the ballast, really sort of putting in very, very good performance. Can he do a repeat manoeuvre of what Knief managed to do on Matthews, potentially? What's happened here? Colin Knief has managed to get past Anthony Gray and is up into third place. Young's done the same. Anthony Gray couldn't.
Young very late on the brakes there he was, but it looks like Colin Knief actually was the one who explored the...
It was, yes. They've been doing that all the race as well. I think it gets worse as well as the tyres go off. But looking at Colin Knief going through into third place, Greg Young following through. Anthony Gray couldn't hold them off and is now down into fifth. And he's got Matthews on his tail.
Well, we just see in the background there, Will Inglis just keeping Andrew
Very barely, isn't he? Oh no, what happened there? No!
He seems to be much quicker through
No, it wasn't. Andrew Whitehead hit the barrier. He did. He slowed down. Look, he's lost a lot of pace. He just clipped the barrier and through the midpoint of Britain's.
I thought he just had a slow line on my screen, but then all of a sudden, small
He
collision.
was indeed.
That won't. Hopefully, he's not carrying a severe amount of damage from that, but he's not looking.
No, he's not. He's lost a lot of pace from that. That's I think got away with being able to sort of bounce off that quite quickly. I think actually. But no, he was half a second between the two, wasn't it? Now it's 2 seconds, which he may be able to maybe able to close that gap up again. But he's got it all again to do, isn't he? And with the tyre wear increasing as well. Where is Colin Knief in respect now? So there's a little bit of a further gap. So essentially it's nearly the repeat of race 1 apart from Will Inglis in first place. There's a lot happening, changing. There's contact between Matthews and Gray. Just looking at, there's a change in the timing board between the two. And it looks like, what happened? What happened there? Gray, I think, was trying to get out the inside, and Matthews coming into Cascades, but not a normal one to try and make a maneuver. So yeah, well, Matthews recovering very quickly, but that's allowed Matt Daly up into 5th.
Race really hasn't gone Anthony Gray's way in the past.
It really hasn't, no. Very good start to the race. Very good couple of laps at the beginning, holding on to that lead. But it's just gone from bad to worse for him. Wiggins now up into 8th place. Barry Clayton behind him. Whitney down in 10th. Little battle happening between Millman and Harper. Damage on Millman's car. Quite interesting to see if Young... The gap's sort of maintained between Young and Knief, but the gap is coming down between Andrew Whitehead and Inglis. 10 minutes of race 2 remaining. Just holding on to the edge of that first turn. Wide line for Andrew Whitehead with the heavier car. Just trying to see which sector Andrew Whitehead's quicker on. He's definitely got more pace than Inglis, but he's only got 8 minutes to try and close the gap. That's not going to help. Slightly losing the brakes there on the Shell Oil's corner. Desperately trying to avoid the barriers this time around. Colin Knief behind him, and so is Greg Young. So they've all sort of opened up the gaps a little bit now. Massive bounce there from the inside of Matt Daly's car. Matthews falling off that battle a little bit as well. Luke Wiggins, the race 1 winner, down in 8th at the moment. Barry Clayton still behind them. Rob Whitney rounding out the top 10. So within a second now between Inglis and Whitehead. So 2nd to 3rd sector is really Whitehead's strength. And he will get back onto the back of that yellow and blue car.
Hope for no mistakes in the chicane again.
Indeed. Both struggling a little bit on the exit of turn 1. Which again, very normal. I think everyone's sort of done that over the few laps. What do we have? 2 and a bit miles of the circuit for them to battle on. Actually, Whitehead quicker through Island Bend by a fair bit. Inglis is going to see him coming. When is he going to start defending his line? Can he hold him off for 7 or so minutes? Andrew Whitehead now taking, I think, a slightly wide line through Britain's, but a lot quicker though.
Who's found pace and a way to not damage the car.
Indeed, it is. Yes. But very quickly on the back of that, on the back of Inglis's car. So the battle is on once again for the lead of the race. Andrew Whitehead slightly earlier on the brakes there by a shade. Inglis carrying the speed. I think it's going to be after the first turn that maybe Andrew Whitehead lines up a manoeuvre. Down the start finish straight, slightly slower through Deer Leap. Oh, what happened there? Was that contact between the two? I think there was a slight.
He was very lucky.
I think there was a slight netcode issue between the two, because the gap was increasing to 0.7, and then suddenly Andrew Whitehead was like 0.1. So I think there's a slight, possibly signal issue between the two, and I think Andrew Whitehead jumping back up to the internet, catching back up to where he was, there was maybe slight contact.
Yeah, either way, Inglis was carrying a lot of oversteer into the corner, so he was lucky to save it, really. And his car's looking quite rear-end rotatey, to give it a technical term now, so it looks like he slid a bit.
But held onto it very well, especially as he's heading for the grass there. That's going to make Andrew Whitehead trying to get around him very tricky, because you don't want to end up causing.
Very slow through the corner. Oh, do have some
contact
issues, unless that was Andrew Whitehead being very.
I'm not sure that was at all. There was a bit of a jump with on the server, I think, as well. So very strange issue between the two. Andrew Whitehead gets going. Colin Knief now takes the lead.
Yeah, so he'll be very happy that the server.
He will. When Inglis gets going, we're down in 5th.
What a shame.
Very, very strange instant there between the two. But yeah, Colin Knief now inherits the lead of the race from that one. And has now eked out 3-second lead. Andrew Whitehead is in 2nd with Young on his tail. But Paul Will Inglis, that could have been. He was on for a very good result there, and now he's off the podium.
Yeah, what a shame. It's a shame that he really was the person to be most affected by that incident there, because yeah, as you say, he was on for a very good result. Whitehead hasn't lost out too much. He's now obviously got a battle with Greg Young, who's been looking fairly pacey, but yeah, a very odd issue. I just saw Inglis coming slow out the corner, and then I assumed it was just a poor line, but no.
It's very difficult to judge with the camera angle exactly how slow he was coming out the corner, but yeah, Andrew Whitehead perhaps didn't expect him to be there, maybe the car disappeared off his track, didn't know how slow the Inglis was going to be, but yeah, that's a very great shame there.
We actually saw Whitehead's car actually physically turn into him, so I assume it is some form of lag.
Potentially. I think it's going to be a bit of a headache for the marshals.
Yes.
But no, definitely probably no intent behind that one. Can Greg Young upgrade his possession? He's on for a podium that he wasn't. Well, he's on for a podium in race 1, but ended up losing out to Whitehead and Knief. But potentially, but he's got Matt Daly behind him, really closing up on the gap now. So this could be a very interesting battle for second and 3rd place. Andrew Whitehead is heavier, so Greg Young theoretically should have the advantage. Down the start finish straight, all open up a little bit now. Colin Knief putting in personal best times. He comes through turn 1. So this is going to be the 3rd There's going to be 3 laps remaining before the end of the race. Five seconds down to Andrew Whitehead. Matt Daly can smell a podium in front of him. Andrew Whitehead a bit slower, covers off the inside line. Greg Young's been struggling on the brakes a little bit into Shell Oils all the evening. Keeps it tidy. They're bunching up a little bit now in the midsection of the circuit. Can Matt Daly get a good exit over the hill?
Looks like he has.
He's certainly trying, diving to the inside. Has a look, but doesn't. I think just trying to unnerve Greg Young at the moment. Just trying to let him know that he's there. Final minute of the race remaining. Colin Knief on the grass there, really pushing it.
He's just showing off at this point. You're saying yeah. As well.
Who is it? I think Andrew Whitehead did a similar thing actually in race 1 as well. Did a bit of landscaping mid race. So this will be the penultimate lap of the races. There'll be one more lap once the countdown, which is 0.
Daly took a few tenths out of Greg Young on that lap there.
He did indeed. I think he suffered in the 3rd sector a bit, did Greg. Andrew Whitehead hoping they just busied themselves in the background. I think Matt Daly just resetting himself just to try and strike. It's definitely the midsection that lends itself to being more sort of racy. And Whitehead a bit wider through there. No, kept it fairly tidy. Paul Millman gets past Rob Whitney in the background. We have, is that Will Inglis actually in 5th place behind them, keeping ahead of Alan Matthews.
Is right on the tail. Yeah, there we go. Just side by side. I think he backed out though, just playing it cautious. Go and finish the race to see score points.
Indeed. Could he get it done on the last lap though? Where is Colin Knief? Colin Knief's just coming through Druid's corner. Keeps it on the road this time. One more lap for Greg Young to defend. He's done a very, very good job at the moment holding off the championship leader.
He looked like he went a little bit wider than he would have wanted there. Maybe his front tyres are finally giving in now, and Matt Daly was much closer to the apex. His last lap now. His last chance.
Yeah, excuse me. Turn 1 for the final time between Greg Young and Matt Daly. Matt Daly running wide. That will not, no.
I mean, he's managed to keep on.
Indeed, very much keep the speed.
If he found a quicker line there, very well done to him there, but
kept the speed very well. There is Colin Knief and Respectus coming through Shell Oil's corner. Unlucky in race 1, but extremely lucky in race 2, inheriting the race win. The race lead, sorry. Not yet won. The battle for 3rd place. I think Andrew Whitehead just managing to keep the gap to Greg to secure that position. But Matt Daly trying the other side now. Can he get up alongside? Not quite. Had a bit of a look.
I don't think he's got the legs in a straight line. I think a couple of times we've seen him it's down that downhill. We've seen Greg Young slightly pull away.
That potentially could have been the last opportunity Matt Daly had. Who is that? The race winner. Race 1 is off the circuit just on the last lap. He's going to lose out to Barry Clayton just coming through Britain's as Luke Wiggins just gets back on circuit. So a bit of bad luck there at the end. But as Colin Knief comes through the final corner, he will take race 2 win this evening at Oulton Park. Well done to him. Andrew Whitehead does finish in second, and Greg Young takes third place podium finish.
Very well defended from Greg there.
Very well done to him, yes. Holds off the championship leader in fourth.
Andrew Whitehead, I'm sure, will be relieved that he managed to keep second after that incident. Willingless having a reenactment, it looks like, of the incident that saw him.
Bit frustrated there. Did finish. Actually, see Alan. Alan Matthews in sixth. Anthony Gray coming home in seventh from leading the first few laps. Barry Clayton there in eighth. Luke Wiggins, the winner from race one, in ninth. Paul Milner finishing up in 10th place. Bob Whitney will finish in 11th. Will Harper in 12th. Swarbrick a lap down, unfortunately. Will finish in 13th place. Stephen Knight, DNF, down in 14th. But well done to this man for the race 2 win. Another tally of points to add to his total. I think not quite enough to take the championship lead, but enough to possibly make a small dent in it for the moment.
Yeah, that will help him with Matt Daly being just ever so slightly off the podium there.
Let me just sort out audio. There we go, get rid of that. Wonderful. So, 2 race, double race weekend. 2 very exciting races there this evening once again for all the Giuliettas. Reeve, what did you make of the second race you got to see?
Yeah, some really good little battles there. Anthony Gray and Andrew Whitehead, obviously. Andrew Whitehead chasing him down for so long before he had that unfortunate incident. And then Matt Daly and Greg Young. Greg Young did a very good job of defending there. He
did indeed. He's in race 1, he was battling with Andrew Whitehead and Colin Kenny for the majority of it until he lost out to 4th place to the other 2 drivers. Very well done to him for getting that 3rd place. I'm sure he'll be very happy with that one. Bad luck for...
Yeah, good haul.
That's right, carry on.
A good haul of points for him then, in terms of the championship. 4th and 3rd.
Very good indeed. Very bad luck for Luke Wiggins, finishing down in 9th. But he does get a race win in race 1. So he has currently had... Looks like he's had a 3rd and a 2nd. There's a 3rd place in round 13 and then a 2nd place in round 16. So now he adds a race win to that as well. So well done to that. That's good to see. Just some very strange instances cropping up there with netcode and things like that, and first laps of each race. The most decisive corner, I think, being Shell Oils, that really gave the drivers a bit of a challenge in race 1. Fantastic all around for another evening. That concludes. I believe it concludes. I'm not aware there's another race. I think that it was a double race weekend. That concludes this evening's event. The next round will take place on the 6th of May for rounds 21, 22 and 23. That will be Thruxton.
Good stuff.
Indeed, very open circuit, very quick circuit, that one as well, isn't it? And that should be very, very good to see. It's been on the touring car calendar for a while, isn't it? And lends itself to very exciting racing. I think that's the closest circuit to where I am as well. So that's technically a home circuit for me, I guess. Possibly.
Yeah, we've actually just pretty much been at my home circuit.
There we go. in succession.
We should be there. We should be there commentating in real life.
Yeah.
The cars aren't.
Oh dear. Okay, fantastic. So yes, that's going to end the stream. Thank you very much for watching. So yes, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. I hope you have a fantastic couple of weeks. And
sure.
yeah, see you then.
Your belief